focusing on yourself. In one way, focusing on yourself actually really means, at least for me, making time for yourself. If I keep track of my time, then I know where my time is going, and then I can actually make time for myself.
Yes, sir.
You had asked me a question, how to focus, and then we started talking about it and what is focus and why focus, and then we talked about how to focus. Whatever we've been talking about, it's really rooted in this idea of focusing on ourselves. The first thing about focusing on yourself would be knowing yourself. We need to know what our values are and what is our vision for ourselves and what is our mission. Focusing on yourself is related to very, very deeply, fundamentally related to self-development. Self-development really means developing self-awareness first and foremost, cultivating self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem and self-worth and self-discipline and self-compassion, self-appreciation, self-gratitude, self-care, right? All those self things, that is like the core energy that drives everything. Focusing on yourself as self-development activity, and that means developing self-love and self-care and all the things that I just listed.
Yes, sir.
How to focus is very deeply related to focusing on yourself. You asked me a question, how to focus on a particular activity. It's not just about focusing on an activity mechanically. In order to be able to focus on something, you really need to know whether that activity is in line with your values and your passion. It's all about being in sync with yourself, being an integrated self.
I do video editing very passionately. The audio editing I do, but get bored and lose focus at time.
What I suggest you do is, like, you're doing this audio thing, it's peripheral activity, but when you do it, don't do it for Mahatman, don't do it for me, but do it for yourself first. 75% we do things that we are passionate about, and 25% things that we are not passionate about. We are not able to do things that we always love doing, but then first, even in that case, always do them for yourself first, and then use this ratio. Do not allow things that you don't feel like doing to go about 25% of your task list. Just in life in general. Our message to especially the young population will be very helpful, to tell them that, hey guys, you better focus on yourself. Meaning, find out what you really want to do in life, and then absolutely do not do what others wish for you. Do what you wish for yourself. And whether it's your parents, your friends, your siblings, even your teachers or whoever, you absolutely do what you wish to do in life. The patriarchal culture teaches girls and women to do stuff for others a lot, almost to the level of sacrifice. And that's not acceptable. I don't know if that's still the case in Gen Zs, but this happens a lot in general, where women just don't have any wish of their own. They have to go to a school where their parents think is the right thing for them, or they have to get married because parents want them to get married, and so on and so forth. But tell me, is this still the case, still the situation in general among your friends and just in general, where you are forced to do something, constantly asked you to do something for others?
Among my friends, yeah, I cannot say that force, but parents are really conservative. Like whatever points that you listed now, yeah, they do like that. So indirectly, those girls and those friends of mine are behave like they are conditioned to behave like that.
There are two words, tyag ani bari.
Bari, right. Bari is a sacrifice.
Right? Yeah, but
and tyag is also sacrifice, but they are different.
Sacrifice. But they are different. But I tell you, these patriarchal communities and these gurus, they will sell bari under the name of tyag. They will sell. It's literally women and especially girls and women and even men are made servants, and their tansa bari dela zato, but they are taught that, oh, this is a sacrifice, especially in this traditional guruism, and also in patriarchal societies, like maybe in like villages, they are taught that, this is a sacrifice for the family, but it's actually a suicide, not a sacrifice. So it's individual suicide. And focusing on yourself doesn't mean being selfish or self-centered. In fact, we should go ahead and say that we need to ditch the guilt that culture has created around selfishness or self-development or focusing on yourself. A lot of guilt tripping happens, and a lot of pressure, social pressure, cultural pressure, familial pressure. So ditch the guilt. ditch the guilt, making time for myself. It also means prioritizing. Selfishness actually is a virtue. Selfishness is different from self-centeredness. When somebody calls you selfish, we have to tell them, hey, I'm just prioritizing. I'm making time for myself. That's it. And I'm valuing my needs. And if I value and take care of my needs, then I am able to value and take care of others' needs. Otherwise, it's hypocritical. Focusing on yourself should mean, again, making time for yourself, prioritizing so that you are doing stuff that means most to you, and then valuing your needs. I've already said, doing stuff for yourself first. In case where you have to do things that you really don't enjoy doing, you can still do them for yourself first by creating a mindset. It's also easy to make decisions. Selfish or focusing on yourself means basically living as per your wish. And we also hope everybody lives as per their wish, and that's it.
Many things become sorted.
Yeah, it's very easy to make decisions. Ame, have you noticed this? Whenever you focus on yourself, it's easy to make decisions.
Of course, sir. I mean, there is no denying that. I think the best decisions come from in a good sense. They come from a very selfish point of view.
When you focus on ourselves, we create value, first and foremost for ourselves. All these people that are on our greatness wall, these people definitely focused on themselves. They created value for themselves. That self-worth and self-confidence that comes out of focusing on yourself. That valuing yourself so much that you create value for others. And what value they have created will benefit generations after generations. We immortalize ourselves by creating value, right? That's how people immortalize themselves, whether it is Krishna or whether it is Gandhi or whether it is my favorite singer Jimi Hendrix. The fundamental requirement for greatness, which means great health, great wealth, great wisdom, is focusing on yourself.
I consider a lot of people in my life and I took decision based on them. So what should we do be a selfish?
Yes, first and foremost, know yourself, which means first of all, just sit down someday, just spend a whole day. So, like creating that's another thing. Creating time for yourself. I call it I time, like iPhone. I call it I time. So create some I time, maybe a day, like a Sunday, and just sit down and write down on your iPhone, on your phone. Okay, what are your values? What really matters to you most? What is your vision for yourself 5 years from now? What is your mission in life? And if you don't have any, then come up with something that really matters to you, that is in line with you, what really is important to you. And then once you know yourself, then everything else is easy. Then you should do what you really are. That's what it means to be an integrated self, right? And I have to tell you, life is a misery. Constantly keep fulfilling others' wish, and we are kind of brainwashed by our culture to do that. It's unfortunate because it is really not in favor of an individual. It's too much in favor of family and community, and we need to bring that balance where we also take care of the individual. And by taking care of the individual, we automatically take care of family and society through this value creation process I just talked about. So my strong recommendation to you would be to just take a day off and introspect and find out about yourself, and then just do what you feel like doing. Do what you feel like doing. And I'm not saying don't be responsible. You can create your own formula. We are recommending 75%, 25%. You can do 25% to fulfill maybe your parents' wish or your siblings or whatever it is. But predominantly, it has to be you, predominantly.
And when we know what we want, we should create our action plan in form of vision board, bucket list, and start working on them, achieving step by step.
Yes, beautiful.
When we are working actually on a project like sitting in front of laptop, we enjoy that work because we have that the drive, the intention.
Correct.
So
Yes,
in
yes.
that particular moment, occurrence of deviation of thought is very less.
Yes, yes. So that distraction thing Utkarsha was talking about, this is the really like the bottom up, the like solving the problem at its root approach to getting rid of distractions. This is the way, is to focus on yourself and be aligned with your values and mission and vision. Once you do all these things, you'll be able to say no, Kunal, a lot. No to things that are not in line with who you are and what you want. And the more no you say, the more you'll be able to focus on yourself. The more no you say to these distractions or others' wishes, and just too much people trying to get your attention. In today's day and age, that's another thing, right? Everybody is seeking your attention. And so focusing on yourself will lead to minimum distractions because you will be able to say no, a lot of no. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Mahatman philosophy is about becoming a leader ourselves first, in our own little circle of influence, and leading our own life. That's first thing. Becoming a leader means leading our own life. What does that mean? Leading your own life, which means living as per your wish and not letting others lead our life. We become a leader of ourselves for ourselves first, and then we, as a leader in our circle of influence in our community, we influence others. And in order to be influential, we have to create value, and that value comes from this focusing on yourself thingy.